Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and to another reaction video. Okay, it is officially time for the season finale of Season 1 of The Wheel of Time. I am pretty excited about this and also very curious how they're going to wrap up this first season now that we have the big Rand reveal having come out at the end of the last episode. I'm curious if the other characters are all going to reach the conclusion that Rand is the dragon, or if they're going to think that Moiraine or he are making assumptions, or how, there's a lot of things that I'm uncertain about, basically. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So far, I've been thoroughly enjoying the ride. It is actually pretty late. It's 12:30 a.m. going into Christmas Eve. I didn't get to start down and start watching the episode immediately when it came out like I usually do. And I've got my cozy hat on. Hope you guys don't mind. I've had quite a horrendous migraine through most of the day today. It's just starting to calm down, so I thought, you know, let's jump up and try to get this done. But actually, the pressure, extra pressure on my head from the hat, I know it sounds silly, just kind of helps some, especially I've got all the lights and stuff on me. It's just... Anyway, so... Since I was a little bit incapacitated when this came out, this is my first opportunity to actually sit down and watch, so it's going to be a little bit later than usual getting up on Patreon, but we're getting there. So I'm really excited. Hope you guys are excited too. Let's check out the Season 1 finale of The Wheel of Time. Here we go. 3,000 years ago! Woo! Dragon Pin! There he is!
The Valerie had someone. Luster and Telemon. Aman Sindai.
Reborn.
Amelie. Avronai.
Oh, lovely, lovely.
What happened to him?
Lovely.
Boys from the borderlands sometimes like to test themselves against the blight.
Why?
And they usually come up wanting.
I know why.
Don't touch him.
Stupidity. Stupidity.
Don't touch anything here.
Youth.
The blight is a
ego.
rot, which spreads from the Dark One's prison and consumes everything in its path, including young men in way over their heads.
She's like, you know, like you. You know Lan's gonna do something stupid, like try and go in there too. This is what, you know... I was thinking about this at the end of the last episode. She masks their bond to try and save him so he wouldn't get in there, but what's he gonna do? He's gonna follow her.
We can rest here.
He's Lan, like...
For half an hour, no more.
Rest.
What are those?
The 7 Towers of Malkier.
Okay. That's where Lan said he was born. I will hate the man you choose. Because he's not me. And I will love him if he makes you smile. You are as beautiful as the sunrise. You're as fierce as a warrior. You are a lioness, wisdom.
Oh, he said it.
What?
Well, Blake
What did
was
you
trying
do?
to take him.
Dreams have great meaning.
That's where we are. He's coming.
Okay, this is the dream. This is the dream.
I wouldn't have expected it would be you.
Woo!
There. That's better. Hard to have a real conversation otherwise. You look nothing like him,
This is definitely a dream.
but still you're him. I see it behind your eyes.
Oh my god.
So what's your plan, Luz Theron? You have one, right?
No, this is a dream.
Does it matter? Whether you're asleep or awake?
Of course.
Either way, here we are, finally having a conversation once again. Sit down. It's pathetic.
You said that whoever goes with the dragon to the afterworld will die there.
Yeah.
Does that include you?
She's like, obviously.
Stay.
Because, like, I made my choice a long time ago, Rand. I 100% knew what I was walking into. Lan, see, I... and yang. The male and female Aes Sedai. Uh-oh. Oh no, not this. Don't do this to him.
You crying?
You finished already?
Rand!
Yeah.
Rand!
What
Rand.
did you think would happen? Must be an awful feeling to know the one power is there, just at the end of your fingertips, but you can't quite touch it.
But he shielded her? He shielded her that quickly? Oh no. Well, there she's got the more typical Min look.
You didn't think I'd come here without knowing what I was walking into, did you? We both
She
know
said
you
she'd
can't
do
escape
it.
this place without his help. And if he doesn't choose the light, I'll choose for him.
She said. She said. She said.
Who gave you those words?
Oh no. Oh no. Oh shit. He's just strolling his ass right in there.
There it is.
What is it?
The Horn of Bloody Valir.
What?
To be blown at the last battle. It's called the Pattern's greatest heroes to stand at our side.
Well, then let's hurry up and get it.
We're not going to use it. It's for the...
They're gonna make a circle. I don't think she's ready for the amount of power she's about to draw off Nynaeve.
Make it what you want!
What about the shield?
Yeah.
As much as I want this, I know that she doesn't. That's not the woman I
What happened?
I did it.
Rand, I'm gonna have to tell ya. He's not who you think he was. That's not quite what you thought. I'm still proud of you, but I mean, for your efforts and for what you realized. And,
Feel your pain, and know that we all stood before you. We all stand with you.
You're Ta'Veren. All 5 of you, focal points for the wheel. Usually there's only one,
It's
maybe
cracked.
2 in a generation, but 5
Rand!
of you in one village.
Mistakes were made!
That's what Moraine saw,
I mean,
what my lord saw.
Tell them I died here.
is she gonna do
Tell them
that?
I didn't make it back.
Is she really gonna
I
do
cannot
that?
lie.
You'll work out a way. You owe me that much.
She'll make Lan tell them.
You thought he was defeated. Ah, there you go. Tiniest push and you choose the dark. Rand may be the dragon, but all 5 of you have a part to play. A master bond. Let me back in.
I can't. The Dark One. He... I can't touch the source.
That this wasn't the last battle. I fear it was the first.
That wasn't the dark one. Siege? Oh shit, it is. Oh my god. Is that what they're doing for the domain? Is that the end? That's the end? No, no, come on, guys. I mean, I suppose I can live with the words to comfort myself that they were going immediately into filming season 2, so maybe it won't be like one of those terrible situations where it takes forever for them to get season 2 out, and I don't know, man. Oh my god. Well, that was it. That was the conclusion of season 1 of The Wheel of Time, as Amazon puts it on. I don't know. I feel like this episode gave me a lot of twists. Like, there was a lot of things that happened in this that were very different than from what happened in the books. So I'm already anticipating that there's going to be a lot of people that are not happy. There's probably going to be a ton of serious mega backlash from a lot of the book reading audience. You know, for me, I'm trying to just look at it in its own thing as kind of like, you know, another turning of the wheel, so to speak. And so a lot of differences are to be expected. Sometimes it's gonna, you know, be things that I actually think are better for this version. Like I've talked about the increasing the pace of Lan and Nynaeve's relationship, increasing the depth of Rand and Egwene's relationship. Those are changes that I think are beneficial to the story as a whole. Some of them I think are going to be changes of expediency that have to do with the restrictions of a television series. The restrictions of a television series that have to do with time, that have to do with budget, that have to do with what might be great reading but would be terrible to watch on screen. You know, I talked about that in terms of the extremely stoic Silent Lan versus the more emotive one. So yeah, but this episode was probably like the biggest in terms of major changes, and I think it's going to take a while for me to sit with all of them and parse out exactly how I feel. There's certain things, like, I'm assuming that Loial is not dead. Like, he got stabbed with the dagger from Shadar Logoth, which is fucked up, by Padan Fain. But my assumption is that he's not dead, because no, that's just not, there's no way that that is the case. I refuse to believe that. They wouldn't do anything that major. Like Agelmar and, yeah, but, and, you know, even some of the soldiers. But I'm also assuming, you know, the 2 remaining channelers currently there will be helping to heal some people. They could heal, maybe even Loial. So there's a possibility of that. Though, since it is that dagger. Well, another interesting thing that's tied to that, right, is that Padan Fain, of course, he came here in somewhat different circumstances. He came here, and it seems like he came here at a goal to take that, and he already had gathered the dagger. He'd already got the dagger from wherever they had left it to get rid of it for Mat. So he's here, and he, like, is very bombastic, and I actually kind of love the depiction of Padan Fain here. So I'm cool with that, because the way that he has to be later on, I think this is more in line with that and fits that better. So I'm cool with that. But we see him just, like, show up and take the Horn of Valir, which, in this telling, they had known was there all along and had been hiding. So I'm supposing there's a chance that since Loial was stabbed with that maybe they need that in some capacity in order to heal him, possibly, or at least fully. I don't really know. But I'm just thinking in terms of they're going to have, at least some of the cast is going to have to go on the hunt for the Horn of Valir after this, right? That's what's going to be happening. Perrin, certainly, he's clearly here and will be engaging in this. And there has to be direct reasons for it. So, I mean, the main reason in the books is they're all concerned about Mat. That's not the main reason for all of them, but that's the main reason for Rand and Perrin to go. And I guess they could do something like where, like, they showed Mat at the end and he was not doing well. Clearly, he's already starting to totally devolve without the dagger. He hasn't been fully healed from that. So maybe they have a possibility that they could send a message back to them somehow quickly that then says you have to go after the horn or else Mat is going to die without more treatment, and he needs the dagger, which Padan Fain has, and he has the horn, blah, blah, blah. But if they don't find that out quick enough, then maybe they need an alternate reason, and maybe Loial getting stabbed could be tied to that. Yeah, because I don't see, without that direct need to go after it for Mat, I don't know if it would make sense for Perrin, and if anyone else is around too, to go chasing after it. So I don't know to get going in that, like, but also like all I don't, all right, so I guess we'll just have to wait for next season to see how that all plays out. I'm also a little curious about the Rand leaving thing. I'm just wondering if it's gonna end up in such a way that next season, like, he just doesn't end up leaving, like he has a dream or something and has to come back right away and gets together with them and goes in the hunt. Because if not, then they're definitely, like, taking the story, cutting out some major things and taking it in a vastly different direction. Which is possible, but I don't know. I think it's interesting. Again, we're going to have to see. I could see them changing it in such a way that Moiraine would, through Lan, tell everyone that she thinks that Rand is dead so that he could get away or whatever. But I just have a feeling that at the beginning of next season, they're going to have to change that around pretty quickly and get him back with at least Perrin and Lyle and some members of the group so that they can go down that path. But I guess we'll see. I don't know exactly how they're going to do it. To me, Moiraine implying to Lan that Rand is dead, I don't know how I feel about that. And I'm hoping that, you know, her saying he's gone, that'll then later have her, you know, be telling him, but then they're gonna, like, imply to the others that he died there. I don't know. I don't know. I do think it's interesting. They went with Moiraine, basically getting her powers, like, basically taken away for the time being, so she has no abilities. And then I guess it'll just be, that'll be a thing in the upcoming season of her, like, either them gradually coming back after quite a while, or she has to, like, go and try to get other Aes Sedai to try and help her. And because she can't go back to the White Tower, then they could possibly, you know, like, I can see Nynaeve tried to experiment and figure it out, but if she can't do it, maybe that could be a way for them to bring in Varen, and then maybe get her on the path with Loial and Perrin, especially if Rand doesn't come back there. I don't know. Trying to, like, throw ideas out in my head here. But I don't mind that decision, so to speak, of having that happen to her, because of course she's just like, she just is like disappears for a lot of the Hunt book. She's just not a factor at all, and this gives a reason for that to be the case, if they're going down that direction. And also, you know, just makes sense, because if she's there with Rand, obviously something is going to happen to her, right? She's going to try and participate in some way, and something's going to happen, and this is something that happens without her, you know, having to die. So I'm cool with that. I think it's interesting. Like, they've definitely set this up in such a way that if you don't know certain things from the book, that, like, you're coming out of this with the impression that Rand fought the Dark One. And whether you think he defeated him there or not, like, that's the impression that you have. They're not giving that away. And I think that's interesting. I think that's cool because, you know, Rand doesn't know. He's certainly under the impression that, oh yeah, I fought him and I won, yay, it's done! Now I'm just gonna go off and die by myself and go mad, but my job is done. Which clearly, you know, is not the case. So that'll be a wake-up call and a unfortunate shock for him. But I do like that. So they, I like the way that they kind of showed him first starting the ability to channel more specifically, and I liked him having the flashbacks and visions of Lews Therin, and I thought that the beginning scene with the flashback of him was cool and interesting, and I liked that we saw it was indeed in a futuristic setting, that before the world is broken, that's what it was like. I think a lot of people are not going to pick up on the idea until maybe after some discussion, or, you know, talking to other people, or maybe not even at all until next season, that he wasn't actually defeated, but that seal was broken, and that is what he wanted, and that kind of ties into the little speech that Podden Fane was giving to Perrin about how, you know, the Dark One didn't just want to kill you guys, he needed to lure you out because he needed Rand for his purposes, and one of his purposes is breaking the seals. So yeah, I think a lot of people aren't going to realize that, so, but we'll just have to wait and see. Yeah. Then the two, like, biggest things to me in this episode that I think are going to cause a lot of major uproar, other than Loial getting stabbed, which I think people are going to panic, but he's not going to be dead, so let's just calm it down there. One, the scene with all of the channelers. I kind of get why this was added in here, because one, they want to give something for the other characters to do. So you've got Perrin and Loial being in a position where they're involved somehow with this, with the Horn of Valyr and how they've incorporated it into here, and with Podden Fane. And of course, Rand and Moiraine are out there, and Lan is stupidly trekking off through the Blight trying to find them, as he would. But you need something for Nynaeve and Egwene to do, and of course, you know, it makes sense that they would try to use their powers in such a way. I do think it was also cool that we got to see some women with the power burning out and what that actually looks like and what it does. And I do think it also, I think it makes sense that, you know, oh my god, I can't believe I don't remember her actual name right now, but Lord Aguimar's sister. It makes sense, you know, she is a channeler, she has power, but she's only trained to a certain extent because then, you know, she didn't succeed in becoming an Aes Sedai and she left. So it makes sense to me that she would know certain things, like how to set up that circle, how to cast in that way, how to channel, how to get it going. But then once she gets as much power coming into her as she possibly can, especially from the super powerful channelers like Egwene and Nynaeve in particular, it makes sense to me that she, having not had sufficient training and not being sufficiently powerful herself, wouldn't be able to handle it well enough to stop that, to end the channeling, stop that from happening before that happened. You know what I mean? So that does make sense to me. But I think that a lot of people are going to be pretty mad about Nynaeve basically being on the verge of death and Egwene healing her. And I don't necessarily have a problem with this, because partially because I don't know to what extent a TV show, and this is where we go to the books versus TV show and the lengths of differences in adaptation kind of things. I don't know to what extent the show is going to delve into the differences in types of powers and abilities of Aes Sedai, or if it's just going to suggest that some are stronger in some areas than others. You know what I mean? Because I also can see a world where show watchers know that Aes Sedai, in general, have the capability to heal other Aes Sedai, right? And they'd be sitting there like, well, why isn't Egwene trying to heal Nynaeve? She would do that, which is true. So, and they clearly, you know, and they also put this in there to give, like I said, to give them something to do, and to also continue the story of like Nynaeve. She's willing to sacrifice herself. Again, she's willing to sacrifice herself to save Egwene, and she's giving her that message, you know, which is quite sad at the end, after she feels like Lan has left and is probably never coming back, and they're not going to be together and have that life together that she was hoping for, so she's going to sacrifice herself. So I think they also put it in there for that character moment, but I do think a lot of people are going to be pissed, so... But we'll see what happens. And then, of course, the biggest one that I'm sure will be the huge cause of uproar is the fact that they had the women channeling there at all, so that they were the ones that put a stop to the Trolloc invasion, instead of having it be Rand actually just going there without any sense of how he did it and doing it himself and having his explosive dragon power moment be that, as opposed to with Ishmael. And I think a lot of people are going to be mad about that. I would have preferred, I think it would have been really cool. They could have still done everything that I was saying happened before with the women channeling, and even with everyone burning out, but have not been enough to stop all of them, so there was still a whole bunch of Trollocs and some Fades coming, like even if they took out just half. And then you could have Rand still like end up saving at the end, and you know, even if you just had Egwene being the only one to like witness it because Nynaeve was incapacitated and, you know, the soldiers were mostly already dead and run over by that point in time. I don't know, it still would have given him that moment, and I do think that it would have been better to give him that moment. I feel like a lot of people are going to be mad about it, and I feel like I'm not mad, but I can understand why they would be. Now, as for why they would make this change, other than just beyond giving the girls something to do, honestly, I think probably the big reason is they wanted to show some of Rand's power, which they did, and they really exemplified how powerful he had to be when Moiraine is talking about how you thought that they wouldn't be able, you couldn't use the one power to crack that, and lo and behold. But I feel like maybe they want to save it, like they didn't want you have this big explosive usage of the one power by Rand at the end of book 1, and I feel like maybe that's not what they wanted. Like, they wanted you to get a taste of it, but not to that full giant extent, and then you to still not really understand how incredibly crazy the dragon's power is until later on, like in the series. Like, they wanted to build up more to it. And that's the main thing that I can think of that would be an explanation. But I'm gonna have to like read some interviews or see what people think, what they say is the reasons for this change. I'm sure there will be lots of discussion because people are gonna be upset. But I mean, overall, I thoroughly enjoyed the episode. Like I said, there's a lot of changes, and some of them I'm gonna have to sit with to decide how I feel about them and if I feel like they're gonna be good changes or if I feel like they were just necessary changes for this medium. But yeah. Oh, and we also got the shot of Min with her hair like that as she was leaving. I liked that. That was good. But yeah, overall, I was really pleased with this first season, and I'm excited to see the second season. I'm excited to see, you know, we're going to have the introduction of Elaine. We're going to have a lot of cool stuff going on, probably at Tar Valon. We should have some of the hunt. So I'm excited for the future. So far, so good as far as I'm concerned. And I know, again, a lot of book fans probably disagree with me, but that's, for me, I've been enjoying this. I think it could have been so much worse. I think that they've got, like, the heart of it, and it's clear that the people that are working on this care about the characters and care about the story and are trying what they can to bring that to life in a TV medium, so... All right, I've talked a lot, so I'm going to wrap this up now, guys, but thank you so much for joining me, and hopefully I will see you next time for another show. Bye.